students, welcome to today's maths class, and today we'll do visualizing solid shapes. Our learning objectives are 3D shapes, nets for the building 3D shape, drawing 3D shapes on the 2D surface, and visualizing solid object. In our everyday life, we see several objects like books, balls, ice cream cones, tube light, etc. around us which have the different shapes. These objects occupy space and have a dimension. Hence, these are called the three-dimensional shapes. In our previous class, we have learned about the sum of these three-dimensional shapes. In this chapter, we will try to know about these three-dimensional shapes. Next is 3D shape. 3D means three-dimensional shapes. All solid occupy space and have three dimensions. That is, they all have some length, breadth, and height. Length, breadth, and height are called the dimension of the solid. Hence, the solids are called the three-dimensional shapes. Some of the three-dimensional shapes are prism, cube, cuboid, triangular prism, pyramid, cylinder, cone, and sphere. All these are three-dimensional shapes. So, first we'll take prism. A prism has two parallel congruent polygon faces called base connected by the faces that are the parallelogram. For example, cube, cuboid, triangular prism, pentagon prism, etc. The prism is named after the shape of its base. So, the name of prism is depend on its base. If it's triangle, it's triangular prism. If it's square, it's a square prism. Clear? Next is pyramid. A pyramid has the polygon base and a triangular face that meet at a common vertex of the surface of the base. For example, triangular pyramid, rectangular pyramid, square pyramid, etc. The pyramid is named after the shape of its base. So, these are the examples of pyramid, triangular pyramid and square pyramid. Next is tetrahedron. It is a special triangular pyramid with all the faces equal, equilateral triangle. Figure drawn on the paper which have only length and breadth are called two-dimensional figure. We also count them 2D shapes. Some of the two-dimensional figure are polygon, triangle, quadrilateral, rectangle, square, and circle. All these are two-dimensional shapes. The surface of the solid may be one of these 2D figure called face. Faces meet at edges and the edges meet at vertices. Next is faces, edges, and vertices. We know that the solid shape have the faces, edges, and vertices. Let us revise all these definitions before we proceed further. First is face. Face, the flat part of the surface, that is called face. Next is edge. Edge is the line segment where two faces of the solid meet, that is called edge. Next is vertex. Vertex is the corner point where two or more than two edges of the solid meet, that is called vertex. So, here the shape, solid shape, and the faces, edges, and vertices are given. In cube, it has 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. Cuboid, it has 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. Triangular pyramid, 4 faces, 6 edges, and 4 vertices. Cylinder, 2 circular face and 1 curve face, and 2 curved edges and no vertex. Cone, 1 circular face, 1 curved face, and 1 curved edge, and 1 vertex. Sphere, 1 curved face, no edge, and no vertex. Next is nets for building 3D shapes. We can now visualize 3D shapes on 2D shapes, that is on paper. Take a cardboard box, it is hollow. It is not solid like a brick, but it has a solid looking shape. However, a hollow box is also 3D shape. Cut it edge and lay on the box flat. We have now the net for this box. A 2D shape that can be folded to make 3D shape is called the net. The net of 3D shape is the outline of its 2D face jointed together. In other words, the net is the solid as the outline of its faces jointed together, from which the model of a solid can be made. To make the cube from its net, find the dotted line, use the flap or glue together. To make a cone cylinder from the net, Fold the lateral surface in the circular way along the circumference of the circle. So these are the some nets of cube, cylinder and cone. They are 2D shapes. When we fold them, it will convert into 3D shape. Clear? The Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt is the square pyramid. It has square base and an isosceles triangle on each side of the square. This is the net of square pyramid, tetrahedron and triangular prism. Clear? Next is exercise 14.1. Identify the following shapes. Write the name of the solid it represents below each picture. So first one, there is a ball. Shape is sphere. S-P-H-E-R-E. Clear? Next is drawing of 3D shapes on 2D surface. When we draw a solid shape on the flat paper or 2D sheet, the image are somewhat distorted to make them appear 3-dimensional. We use rhombus for square and the parallelogram for rectangle face of 3D shapes to give the feeling of 3D shape. Such a sketch of the solid is called the oblique sketch. We cannot draw 3D shapes on a 2D surface. What exact measurement? We draw it as look like about. We also show the hidden edge with the dotted line. In an oblique sketch, the size of the front face and its opposites are same. The edge appear equal on the paper sketch. Through the actual measure of the edges is not taken so. It look like a cube seen from the front side. Next is isometric sketch. The term isometric means equal measure. Isometric का meaning है equal measure. We use isometric dot sheet to draw sketches in which measurement are of exact size of the solid. In isometric drawing, the drawing are drawn on the isometric dot paper or isometric grid paper. Next is difference between isometric and oblique sketch. So this kind of sheet where we use dots to draw 3D shape, this sheet is called isometric paper. Next, we'll take the difference between the isometric and oblique sketch. In the isometric sketch, measurement are of exact side. This is not so in the case of oblique sketch. Here is an oblique sketch of cuboid measuring 3 into 3 into 6. The length and breadth are equal but not shown. They are mentioned only in the isometric sketch. We can measure, count the unit of the length, breadth and height. These measurements are of exact side of solid. So in isometric sketch में क्या होता है, जो shape होता है and size होता है, size is exact, but oblique sketch हमें exact size नहीं देता है. Clear? Next is exercise 14.2. The dimension of a cuboid are 5 cm, 3 cm and 4 cm. Draw 3 different oblique sketch of this cuboid. Use the different faces as the front of each time. So here you can draw like this. You can also draw like this. And third, like this, you can draw different sketches. Clear? So practice all the questions of this exercise. Next is visualizing solid object. Sometimes when we put similar shape, say cube, side by side, some of them may be hidden from our view. In some cases, we can guess accurately how many of them were there when observed from the front view, side view or top view, considering the following combination of the cube. So here different combination of cubes are given. In first figure, there are 2 cubes on the top layer. So you can see there are 2 cubes on the top layer. Therefore, there are 2 cubes below them. Part of the 1 cube is being seen on the back thus. So number of cube कितने हो जाएंगे? First layer of 3 into 2 cubes. First layer में कितने हो जाएंगे? 3 into 2. 6 cube plus 2 cube. So total हो जाएंगे 8 cubes. Like this we can count the number of cubes. Clear? Next, viewing different sections of a solid, cutting, slicing. The baked bread available in the market has the shape of cuboid with the square face. It comes sliced with the nearly square pieces. We call this face the cross sections of the whole bread. The cross section is nearly a square of this case. We often cut either horizontal or vertical. If you cut the carrot in one way, you get the circular piece, but if you cut it lengthwise, you obtain to cut almost triangular. If we give horizontal or vertical cuts of the clay model of different solid, cubes, pyramid, sphere, we get the different 2D figures. So here the cross sections of circle, triangle, semicircle, rectangle, isosceles triangles and triangles are given. Next is exercise 14.3. Find the number of cubes in the following arrangement. So in this arrangement, top layer you can see 3 cubes. So under that there are 3 more cubes and 3 here. So total 9 cubes. In first layer 3 plus 3 6 and top layer 3. 6 plus 3 9 cubes. Clear? Next, viewing different faces of the solid by shadow play. The shadow of the 3-dimensional solid are 2-dimensional figure. Shadow are the good way to illustrate how 3-dimensional objects can be viewed in 2 dimensions. In if street of the cone, we place the cube in the above position, we will get a shadow of a square shape. If you place a sphere, the shadow will be of circular shape. We can experiment with the different position of the source of light with the different positions of the solid object. When we increase the distance of light of source from the solid object, the shape and size of the shadow will be somewhat distorted. So it's depend कि कितना close है source of light that object के. For example, the shadow of the cube may be distorted enough to look like a rectangle instead of a square. But a cube cannot cast the shadow of the hexagon in any case. Thus, the shadow of the solid gives the information about the face of the solid or its vertical or horizontal cross section. We can also tell the type of solid of which the given 2D shape of shadow is formed. For example, a shadow of a triangular shape show that it may be the shadow of the pyramid or a cone. The shadow of the rectangular shape show that it may be the shadow of the cuboid or the cylinder. A shadow of the circular show that it may be the shadow of shape. Next is exercise 14.4. By which solid are the following 2D figure cast under lamp of light? So, a triangle. So, cone will show the shadow of triangle. Clear? Next is viewing different faces of the solid from different angles. We can look at the object standing in front of or it by the side it or from the above. Each time we will get the different view, front view, side view, top view. We can use these view to visualize what the solid look like. So, if we look at an object with different positions like from front, from side and from top, it will look different. Like here, the building, this is the front view of building, side view and top view. If we talk about the car, this is the front view, side view and top view. Next is different view of some special solids. So, a cube, this is the front view, side view and top view. If we talk about the cuboid, this is the front view, side view and top view. Clear? Next, different view of some combined shapes. So, in this shape, you can see this is the front view, side view and top view. Like this, here the different views of different shapes are given here. So, you can see how it look different from each other. Clear? Next is exercise 14.5. Draw the front, side, top views of the following solid. if we talk about this, so in front it will look something like this. That is the front view. In side view it also look like this. In top view की बात करें, so top में it will look something like this. This is the top view. Clear? Next is summary. Plane figures are 2-dimensional. The solid shapes are 3-dimensional. Length, breadth and height are called the dimension of a solid. Nets are the 2-dimensional pattern and 3-dimensional figure. Solid shapes can be drawn on the flat surface. The depth of the solid is only an illusion. An oblique sketch does not have the proportion length, but it gives the clear idea how the solid looks like when seen from the front. In the isometric sketch, the measure are the exact size of the solid. Visualizing solid shape mean we should be able to see the hidden part of the solid shape. Next is multiple choice questions. Take the correct option. Which of these solid have the maximum number of vertices? So among these, the cuboid will have the maximum number of vertices. So option D is correct here. So here we end the chapter. I hope you understand it well. Now to practice it.